Welcome back. I'm still with Isabel Oakshott, Talk's excellent international editor. By the way, Isabel, just did a bit of sums during the mathematics being my strongest subject, not. The 1,168 migrants that came across the channel since Saturday, so 4 days worth, whatever it is, that's going to cost us, the taxpayer, over the next year. The people who've come over since Saturday alone are going to cost us £46.7 million over the next year. It's just, it's stunning.
That's just over a year, and I bet that doesn't take into account the full cost of all their legal appeals and endless, contortions to try to find a way to stay here. I mean, these are astonishing figures, and when you think about all the continual bleating from the Treasury about the constraints on the public finance and how we can't afford this and we can't afford that, and then you realise that, this week alone, these last few days alone, have cost the public purse 46 million.
Yeah. Since Saturday, it's just outrageous. It's billions and billions of pounds every year on all of this.
Really, think about that, by the way, in terms of number of extra actual nurses we could have, or real things that make a real difference to people.
Yeah, but of course, the term "stop the boats" is too binary and too stark. Our politicians are pathetic. They're pathetic, and that's a former Prime Minister who may even be more pathetic than the one we've got now, although the jury's out. Right, let's talk Donald. Well, he gave this incredible 100-minute speech to Congress last night. Let's just play a clip. This is him. I love this. Him talking about government waste, Elon Musk and Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, and some of the extravagances that they've discovered.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million.
It's amazing, isn't it? Let's just play one more clip. This is him talking about common sense.
Past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record, to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it.
He is doing the job, isn't he, Isabel? And also, he's done the job, or he's a long way towards doing the job on Ukraine. I just think we should encourage the president and his deputy, his vice president, J.D. Vance, in their aggressive pursuit of peace, because by and large I would say hundreds of thousands of young men dying in godforsaken fields in the east is not a good thing. A better thing would be if they weren't dying. So pursuing peace in Ukraine, I don't know why he gets condemned for it, why all these EU leaders say, well, we've got to carry on. They are, of course, the same leaders who told us that we'll have to lock down forever to beat COVID. So I don't trust these people at all. Now, in that long speech, he also revealed, the president, he revealed that Zelensky, following that incredible bust-up in the White House last Friday, has now written to him, basically saying, sorry, you can have your mineral deal on whatever terms you want, and yes, can we get round the table? Can we pursue peace? So, while Europeans have got their knickers in a twist, they bullied him, and they weren't very nice, and they were rude, and well, here we are, 5 days later, is it? And President Trump is getting everything that he wanted, and what I think is that what he wants is a good thing. Hey ho, good for Trump.
Well, I listened to much of that speech and Trump rattling off his list of achievements, and it actually sounded like the kind of list that most leaders would dream of being able to recite after they'd been in power for a decade. The guy's only been in power for a matter of weeks, and look what's already been achieved. Quite remarkable. Of course, I didn't like watching that spectacle in the Oval Office. Of course, it was uncomfortable. I don't think it should have been done in that way. But what matters is outcomes. And, you know, President Zelensky is having to suck up an awful lot that he doesn't want to, because quite simply, he on his own, and not even with just the British and maybe French support, cannot hope to win this war against Russia. So at some point, realpolitik has to come in, and that's where we're at now. And whilst it hasn't been at all pretty, as you say, not people dying is better than people dying. Absolutely.
So good for Trump. He is achieving great things, I think. And one of the things he's achieved, to come back to, so that conversation can come rather nicely full circle, is did you know the southern border over which during Joe Biden's tenure something like well, they think possibly 10 million illegal migrants got into America while Biden was in power for over 4 years. Do you know that Trump has succeeded in stopping 98% of all migrants smuggling into America? So at a stroke, he solved their migrant crisis. It makes you think maybe, you know, if we had a Trump, it could be solved here.
Of course it could be. You know, as he put it, they heard what I had to say and they decided not to come. You know, this is the point about either stopping the boats or your policy, proposed policy of detain and deport. You actually don't have to do it very many times before people get the message. You know, very soon, when you broadcast the fact that this is what you're doing, you mean it. There won't be any fannying around with appeals and endless more appeals and appeals on appeals. We're not paying for any of that stuff. You come here illegally, you're going home. Once you start doing that, the problem basically dries up. Maybe they find new ways to sneak in. At that point, you tackle those new ways, and that's the end of the story. You know, the Australians have done it very successfully. Yeah. And my God, if Trump can do it along America's borders, then I pretty much think we, as a little island, ought to be able to achieve something similar.
Yeah, just send a load of troops down and stop them coming. And our system, as I said earlier, should be detain and deport, which is what Australia did. And what have we got? So you've got Trump. Let's send a load of troops down. By the way, we'll build a wall, but in the meantime, we'll just stop them coming. 98%. And what have we got? Former Prime Minister saying, oh, stop the boats is too binary and too stark. It is beyond pathetic, beyond pathetic. Right, we're going to play a last clip. This is because I think it's funny when Trump calls Congress Lady Elizabeth Warren was he got a Pocahontas, he calls her. So let's have a listen to this.
With no end in sight, the United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense. With no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
It's true, though, isn't it? I mean, all these lefties, these EU leaders, Keir Starmer, Pocahontas, they all, the Democrats, they go, oh, yeah, the war's got to carry on, the war's got to carry on. Really weird that the Liberals and the left, they want continued war, the continued destruction of human life in the East, and you got right-wing Donald Trump wanted to stop. I'm on his side, aren't you?
Well, I'm definitely on the side of less people dying, and however that's achieved, hopefully it doesn't involve ludicrous levels of capitulation.
I don't think it will. I've got to stop you now, Isabel, because I've got to go to break, but I don't think it will. Great to talk to you.